been on my fair share of cruises. I've probably cruised with almost all of the mainstream cruise lines, but right now I'm on board a Marella cruise and this is my cabin. It might not look like the most glamorous. These are the kids' beds. These are the adult beds. Yes, we have a separate bed situation going on, not by choice. That's just the way you have to have it in this cabin. However, despite that, I am having a fantastic time. So right now, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Marella Cruises and how it's different from other cruise lines because it is pretty different, but I think in a good way. The first thing that makes Marella different from most other cruise lines is that when you book, you get a package deal. So the cruises are sold including flights from your local airport, and there's a choice of 25 different airports across the UK, so you really don't have to go very far to start your cruise. Then after your flight, you get transfers included that takes you from the airport overseas straight to the ship. You get your cruise, and then you get your port fees and taxes. That's important to consider. They're all included too. Your gratuities are included, which means that you really don't have very much else to pay for. Not only does that mean that you don't have to worry about how much you're spending, but it also means that you don't have to organise all these things yourself. You don't need to fly out the day before and then book a hotel and hope that your flight's not delayed. Because Marella is owned by TUI and they also own the aeroplanes, you can fly out on the morning of your cruise and know that you'll be taken straight to the ship and you can't miss it. So that just makes everything really relaxing. So that's the first thing. The second thing I love is that Marella Cruises are all inclusive, which means that everybody on board gets a drinks package. So even if you don't drink alcohol, this is still really valuable. My husband doesn't drink alcohol, but let me tell you, he has been getting through the mocktails on this cruise. The included drinks are really, really good. There's always a choice of at least 5 different cocktails in each bar, and then it'll be a different 5 cocktails in another bar, beers, wines, spirits, soft drinks, whatever you like. If you want fancy drinks, you can pay a bit extra and upgrade to the premium all-inclusive package, but we didn't really feel the need to. The drinks that you get are excellent, and it's just a nice atmosphere knowing that everyone's got the drinks package. When you walk into the theatre, for example, all of the drinks are just there on the side. You can just pick up a glass of Prosecco as you walk in and sit down. It's brilliant. The next thing that I love about Marella is it's got to be the food. And really, I think it's the choice of how many different venues you can go to that are included in your cruise fare. So with pretty much any cruise line, you'll get to eat in the main dining room, you'll get to eat in the buffet. There might be a couple of other options, but everything else is generally an extra charge. So on this ship, because it does vary between the different Marella ships exactly what restaurants you get, but on this ship, we've got, as well as those, we've got an Italian restaurant. There's another place that does pizza and pasta where you choose like mix and match what type of pasta and what sauce, or what type of pizza and what toppings you want. And then there's a tapas place as well. And then by the pool, there's a snack shack where you can get like burgers, hot dogs. There's like grab and go sandwiches and stuff. So there's just so many places that you can eat that's included in your cruise fare. And then as well, there's specialty restaurants if you want something really special like surf and turf or some kind of Asian cuisine, you can get that in there. Also in the buffet, it's not just like the standard buffet food. Every day in the buffet, there'll be the regular buffet on one side and then like a theme on the other, like Mexican one night or Indian another night. So you really are spoilt for choice when it comes to food, and I love that. The other thing that I think, also relating to the food, but this deserves a point by itself, is that if you've got any kind of special dietary requirement or allergy, you'll know how important it is that things are labelled properly. So myself being vegan, the only things that I ever want on a cruise regarding the food is I want a vegan option in the main dining room and I want some labels in the buffet. And you'd be surprised how many cruise lines don't deliver on either one or both of those. But Marella honestly has it nailed. There's always at least 1 or 2 things that I can have in the main dining room. And in the buffet, the labelling is fantastic. It's got little symbols so you can see. It's got a little picture of an egg if it's got egg in it. It's got a little picture of some milk if it's got milk in it, so you really can't be confused about what's suitable, and I love that. It makes things so much easier. Now the next one is the crew members. I mean, cruise ship crew members, they're pretty much always lovely, aren't they? And on Marella, they really are lovely, and they really do go above and beyond. And a lot of the time, it's just a case of smiling, asking how you are, and just taking a minute just to, have a little conversation with each guest, which they really do. They'll ask if you're getting off the ship today, where you're going, and then if you request anything extra, they always try the best to do it. So, like, for example, my son Adam, he always wants chocolate sauce with his pancakes, but there isn't any chocolate sauce out, and they always say, yeah, let me see what I can do, and then they go off and they'll hunt it down and they'll find it. Whereas on a lot of other cruises, they might just say, no, we've not got it. So yes, love that. Well done to all of the fantastic crew members. Now, what's next? Oh, the shops. So I'm not usually a great big fan of shopping on cruise ships. They're normally, well, I don't know if it's overpriced is the word, but the shops on board can be quite expensive. Like, I don't need a £500 handbag. However, on Marella, the shops are really reasonable. So I got, where is it? Oh, here. I got this handbag and I love it. And this was half price. So it was like £30 instead of 60 or something like that. Really good. That is the kind of shopping that I love, and it goes with everything. So super happy about that. And the shops have sales on all the time. Every day there'll be a different sale. It'll be like 50% off this, or this is like buy two, get one free. So if you like shopping, definitely have a look around the shops, because the shops on board are really, really good. What else? Oh yes, one other thing that we did while we were here. I have seen this on a couple of other ships, but I've not had a chance to get it done yet. But we did this last night. It was so much fun. We went to get our irises photographed. So it's just like having your photo taken, but you open your eye really wide like that, and they take a photo of it. And then they can put them on a canvas. So we've got all 4 eyes for our family members. That was really, really fun. And then we've got the individual prints as well. The lady who did that as well, the photographer, she was lovely. She was really friendly. And the kids enjoyed it as well. So that was a really good experience. I'd recommend that if you can. Oh yes, the spa. So we haven't had a chance to go in the spa. We've just been so busy. There's just been so much to do on the ship, but I did have a tour of the spa and it looks lovely. So the thermal suite has got sauna, steam room, relaxation beds, loads of lovely facilities, and it's only £29 for a day pass, which I think is really, really reasonable. On some other ships it's like £100, so the fact that that's £29, fantastic. If you have time, definitely look into seeing if you can do that, because that's a great way to spend a day. The other thing that's really, really reasonable, I think, on Marella Cruises is the excursions. So we took a couple of excursions, and I always look at the options with doing the excursions or doing your own thing. And when I did the maths, it worked out that it was like the same price. So we went on one, for example, which was to a wildlife park, and it would have cost the same to get a taxi to the wildlife park, which is like half an hour away, and get the tickets, as it cost to just go on the Marella bus and get the tickets. So I was like, well, I'll just do the official cruise line one, because it's so much easier. You just step off the ship straight onto the coach. Also, you know that they're going to bring you back to the ship on time. So we did that, and it was fantastic. And the other advantage as well of booking the cruise line's own excursions is, obviously, if your ports get changed for any reason, like they have done on this cruise, about half of the ports have been switched around either to a different port or to a different day, just because of the weather. The captain wanted to avoid some high waves, so that's fantastic. You managed to do that. Because our excursions were booked with Marella, it's absolutely fine. They just issue you a new ticket. There you go, we've changed it for you. Whereas if you would have booked that yourself, then yeah, that's going to be tricky. You're going to have to make phone calls. You might not be able to get a refund, blah, blah. So yes, that is obviously an advantage of getting the cruise line's excursions. And because they are so reasonably priced on Marella, it just makes sense to do that. The next thing that I love is the size of the ships. So Marella's ships, they all have roughly 2,000 guests on board, somewhere in that region. And I think that is the perfect number. So I used to think that I loved really, really big ships, like 5,000 guests plus, because there's so much to do on board. But then they are really busy. And then for a while, I thought I liked the really, really small ships, like 100, 200 people, river cruises. And they are nice, but one, they're really, really expensive. And two, there's never that much to do because the ship's so small. But I think the sweet spot Yeah, it's about 2,000 for me anyway. That's what I like, and that's what size Marella ships are. So that's about 12 decks. You never have to walk too far. If you ever have to just nip back to your room, get your sunglasses, no problem. It's never more than a couple of minutes away. So I like that. The ships as well, they are really, really easy to find your way around. So I do get lost pretty easily. And sometimes it takes me about 3 or 4 days before I can find my way around the ship. I never know which is the front and which is the back. I never know what deck things are on. But these ships are so easy to find your way around. And one of the reasons why is that they use different colours of carpet next to the elevators. So there's like 3 blocks of stairs and elevators, and one will be red, one will be green, one will be blue. So you can just see which lift you're at, you know, if you're at the front, middle, or back of the ship. And then there's signs absolutely everywhere outside every lift or set of stairs. And on the picture with the ship, that's always pointing the wrong way. That does my head in when they have it pointing backwards. I'm like, well, the front's that way, but the diagram says that way. No, none of that. It's all sensibly labelled, and it's really easy to find your way around. Now, this next one, if you've got kids, is a great one. Even if you've not, actually, it's fun. So on this ship, there's a place you can go which has 6 Xboxes, and you can just go and borrow the controllers from reception, and you can just sit and play Xbox. You can play football, you can play racing games, you can play all sorts, and it's just a really fun way to spend time as a family or as a couple, or there's just loads of teenagers in there as well, just like playing by themselves and making new friends. And I've never seen that before. Normally the Xboxes or PlayStation, whatever they have, they're just inside the kids club, so the kids can only go at like certain times, and there might be like 50 kids in there and 2 Xboxes, so they've got to take it in turns. But the fact that they're just there all the time and you can just go and play them is brilliant, especially if your kids are, you know, sort of 8 and up, and they might need a little bit more entertaining, or maybe they think that it's too cool for the kids club, or, you know, they're a bit too shy to make friends. They can just go and play Xbox, and why not? You know, it's their holiday as well, if that's what makes them happy. So yeah, that's really cool. And finally, the thing which I think has made this cruise so special is that the people that are on board, the type of person that takes Marella Cruises, they're just all so lovely. Everyone just seems really, really nice. I've found on some other British cruise lines, I don't know what it is. I think they might attract the moaners, and there's been a lot of whinging. A lot of people saying, oh, you know, we've been cruising with this cruise line for a long time and it's not as good as it used to be, and they've taken this away, they've taken that away. I've not heard any of that on Marella. I've not heard anyone say a bad word. Everyone's just had a really nice time. Is that because everyone's got a drink package? I don't know. I'm not saying that. I've not seen any drunk people either. It just seems to attract a really friendly, happy crowd, and that's brilliant. So yes, if you are thinking of booking a Marella cruise, or if you've got one booked and you're not sure what to expect, then I hope that you find this video interesting and helpful. If you're planning a cruise on the Marella Explorer, then I also have a ship tour video of this ship, which is basically me just walking around with a camera showing you around, so be sure to look out for that as well. Bye!